Survivor Specialist Phil and Alexa are back, and so is Survivor Season 40 has finally aired after knowing who is going to be on this cast since what, May, everybody? We all knew since May, every single player who was going to be out there. Finally, we get to see it actually in action. Every single vote out is going to hurt this season. Boy, was I happy it wasn't Adam first, but I wasn't necessarily happy it was Natalie first. That hurt. This whole season's going to hurt, but it's going to be so awesome as we watch it. Alexa, welcome back to the regular season.
It's great to be here, but it is heartbreaking to watch Kim Spradlin, who carries herself so, like, not even menacingly, but just confidently, to watch her drop to the ground and cry made me want to do the exact same thing. And then Amber was like, I was loving her.
Amber was great. Amber was great. It was a bummer to see her go. I mean, this just, it comes down to everything we said in all of our pregame interviews with all the players that we did. You have to be worried about an 18-person tribe swap turning to 3 tribes of 6, 2 tribes of 9, whatever it is. You have to be worried about that because we've seen it happen numerous times. And if that happens, Rob and Amber have just as good of a chance of being on the same tribe as anybody else has of being on the same tribe. And therefore, you have to get rid of one of them at 19. And we saw in the first part of this episode, Rob was never in trouble. And we'll talk all about Boston Rob because he was phenomenal tonight. But Rob was never in trouble. But I do think that had his tribe lost a second time, things probably turn on him, and then suddenly he is in trouble. And we kept saying whoever was that boot at night, or whoever went to tribal at 19 was going to have a hard time overcoming it.
Right. Yeah, I think Rob and Parvati are definitely in some serious trouble because everyone realized that they were running the show. And like the two of them talking, it's being like, no one's talking about us. Like, are we nuts? Like, it was so good. They were so good together. Like, why couldn't this have happened on Heroes versus Villains? But yeah, I knew that was going to be tough with Amber, but I'm watching this and I'm just like, I really don't want to see Kim go. And I figured she wouldn't because they showed none of her. She was not around at all. But Amber had a really good moment. She's hunting for an idol. And then she was like, I've been gone too long. And I was like, that is the awareness that a lot of people on the season have not had. Like 5 different people have run off alone so far.
She does.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, she does not go home if Rob's not there.
No.
Plain and simple.
Doesn't come at all.
No, plain and simple.
It sucks. It totally sucks because I like loved those 2 hours of her. I thought she was great.
I love these 2 hours of everybody. I mean, this comes back to, I mean, if you look at who didn't have much going on, Michelle didn't have a lot going on. Kim didn't have a lot going on until the very, very end. But everybody in this episode, you're just like, holy crap, we're actually watching this happen. Like, this is real. We're watching all 20 of these people. There's just such an epicness to it. And sitting there at that first tribal council, my heart's like pounding in my chest and it has no effect on me. Whoever wins this $2 million isn't throwing me $10, but still my heart is pounding in my chest because it's like, holy crap, one of these people is going home, and you can just feel that intensity of, you are sitting there. I mean, Adam Klein, who I will use as our guide through this entire season, no matter what place he gets, is sitting there knowing his name has come up, and he's looking around at the people he's playing with, and it's Ethan, it's Parvati, it's Boston Rob. I mean, he had to be just waiting for somebody to snap their fingers or for somebody to come up and just push him on the shoulder and say, you got to get up now because it's time for school. Like, what the hell is going on? And just like to see his reaction when it was like, I forget exactly what he said, but he was just like, no. And no laugh or anything. Everybody else is laughing, and he never broke because he's like, I'm losing my mind right now. Like, it's incredible. This whole thing is just, it's an incredible thing. I love that they started with the challenge just like did in Heroes versus Villains. That's what they need to do on these big epic seasons because it gets us right into it. I love that it was for immunity. Thought that was great. So, yeah, no bad marks from me on this episode.
Yeah, both the challenges were awesome. That barrel roll thing looked horrible.
I loved that barrel roll thing. I thought that was such a cool idea. I thought that was a good way to really just put a twist on, like, get over an object and how they all had to work together. And Boston Rob, again, he's got the dad bod. We're all going to make fun of him because he doesn't look anywhere near like he used to 20 years ago or whenever the first time he played was. But, man, he can still move. He was throwing everybody over that beam. I loved, like, he's just picking people, get on my shoulders, throwing them all over. I thought that was just really awesome. And then, of course, we get Jeremy saving the day, winning that immunity challenge. We're going to have to take this from the top. Of course, Alexa's just getting beat out here with a siren in the background, because if you're a new listener, that's what happens.
That's the thing that happens. I know, Phil, you did a great job running that along. That siren stood outside for like way longer than usual. But yeah, like for Boston. Yeah, it's definitely still going. You have something to say?
Why don't you put yourself on mute, and I'll talk about this while we have the time, because everybody's going to want to do our Patreon power rankings game. If you want to get involved in that, we'll say that right now. If you're $20 patron, we do a power rankings game where you can win a buff. Every week you submit your power rankings. We don't do it for week 1, so it starts this week. If you want to get involved, you'll be able to go against Alexa, myself. Intern will probably make appearances throughout the season like he always does. And every week we bring on a guest. Our first week, we already have our first guest. I can probably talk about that in a second. Yeah. But what I want to really say to get to the point of that is, if you're going against Intern at any point during the season, you will kill it, because we did a fantasy draft before the season began, and we all auctioned off the players of Survivor, and we all got to put money down on them. And Intern gave $70 to get Natalie Anderson and $70 to get Amber. And Intern is down to just 3 people left on his fantasy team. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right? Quick. That was quick. Quick work.
So anyways, what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by an ambulance was like Boston Rob put Jeremy on his shoulders. Like that was absolutely incredible. And I actually, dare I say it, like you said, a lot of people have had, like the people who expect to have big nights pretty much all had big nights. I thought Sophie had a really good night. She had some great one-liners. I think the $2 million just really shook everyone up.
Yeah.
I think that just like totally changed everything. And Ben is a darn good narrator.
Ben was very good at narrating tonight. I got a real MVP case to make for somebody else, but let's talk about Ben first, because as we're just going to rip through all these players. But yeah, Ben was awesome. And I loved Ben completely revealing his hand to Boston Rob. And once again, Survivor has changed so much. And this is not a knock on Ben, but it's just when the game has changed so much, when you've played really all the aspects of the game. Boston Rob played when there were no idols. He played an all-star season. He returns for Heroes Villains when there's idols everywhere. He plays Redemption Island, so there's a portion of the game where people can get voted out. He lives on the island when Island of the Idols is there. He just gets this game so much better than anybody else because he's done it so much. Ben's only done it once. Boston Rob completely ran circles around Ben at that part. I mean, it was unbelievable how it was just like, there's nothing I can do. I'm just mumbling. I don't know what to say. And Boston Rob was just like, wow, man, I don't trust you. And Ben's just like, you're good at this.
Ben's like, Dad, I'm so sorry.
I know, you're good at this. And it was like, as somebody who's not really a big Boston Rob fan, and I've been pretty vocal about that throughout. I mean, it took him 4 times to win and all of that. Seeing those types of moments of him just really being able to get somebody, like Boston Rob is a better player than Ben is. Ben could become better than Boston Rob, but Boston Rob's played 4 times. Ben's played once. Ben played on a non-returning, not a great competitive in terms of like strategic mind cast. So Ben is learning a lesson out there on these first couple days. And he learned it pretty quick, because then he was able to kind of rally the troops and be like, you know what? It's not going to be me. I'll throw Danny's name out there. And really, everybody should be thanking Ben Drewbergen because he gave us what could be the coolest alliance we're ever going to have, which is Ethan, Parvati, Boston Rob, and Danny. So just saying.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And then fantastic transition to Danny. First of all, do you think she like walked onto the island and she was like, okay, my first confessional, I'm not even going to talk about myself. I'm going to lead with Survivor Guatemala season 11. Like she said that. And I was like, I bet Brian Corden was like, you are not allowed to speak until you mention the name of season 11.
The first person to ever return from Guatemala.
Absolutely love it. I would be pumped if I were them. But Danny just like, I don't even know if she knew it was the right answer or not, but she was just like, yeah, I threw you out. I threw everybody out. And that worked perfectly. It was amazing. And this speed is just so weird, because I feel like we actually saw total opposite like experiences in both tribal councils. The first one, everyone was so afraid to say a name. And I freaking love, it's like Parvati, Danny, Ben, Jeremy, and Natalie. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, all right, who are we thinking? And Danny's like, how about Adam? And everyone's like, yeah, so like, who are we thinking?
Yeah.
She literally gave you a name, and it takes them all this time to still figure it out. And that's why I think that Natalie ends up going home versus the other side where everyone's chucking everyone's name out and no one has a problem with it.
Yeah, and the other side, okay. Here's my MVP of the night. Yul Kwon.
Yes.
He was incredible. Unbelievable. So glad he's back on my TV. And here's what I love about Yul Kwon. Yul Kwon goes out onto Survivor, and he is I really believe he's the most cerebral winner we've ever seen on the game. He's always thinking a step ahead, and he walks out there and he says, I know who I need to get rid of because I have no connections. I need to take the misfits, and I need to get rid of this poker alliance. How many times have we ever seen another show or another part of the world on Survivor that is not actually Survivor? And because of Yul Kwon, we see this entire clip of the poker alliance of Tyson and Boston Rob and Kim and Jeremy. And Yul memorizes what Tyson says. Like, I love that. Perfectly. And so because he brought that up, now it's like, okay, we actually understand why Yul wants to get rid of these people rather than kind of trying to hide it, because he just kept saying poker alliance, poker alliance, poker alliance. And by doing this, he was able to get people to just kind of come to his side and be like, you're right, we need to get rid of an Amber or a Tyson or a Kim. I thought Yul was incredible tonight, and it just goes to, because that side had so many connections already, I think that's why everybody was okay just kind of throwing each other's names out there like they did.
Yeah. I cannot believe, was it Poker Night Live? Like, I don't know anything about poker. Like, is that what it was called?
I think it was Poker Night Live. Alexa is pulling out her handy dandy diary, which is probably all love notes to me.
Look at my notes.
There it is.
Yeah, I love that they showed that. And it was so good because either Yul is like incredibly humble or actually just figured it out. I think he's super humble, but he was like, yeah, I think Tyson said something along the lines of this, and just like verbatim, totally copies it.
Yeah.
And that's something that, like, it hadn't been made a big deal on the other tribe, but on this one, it was made to be a huge deal. And Amber's not even like in the poker alliance. That's what sucks so much about Amber going home.
Amber wasn't in anything. Amber just wanted to go out there and play the game and play for herself. But unfortunately, because of Boston Rob, now let's say Boston Rob and her both hadn't played since All-Stars, or even if Boston Rob only played Heroes Villains, somehow wins Heroes Villains, whatever. It is this longevity of or not the longevity, but the recency that Boston Rob plays season 39, doesn't actually play the game, but every single person sees his statue out there. And though you might not vote off Boston Rob, because like Tony said tonight, he wanted to keep Amber because Amber and Rob is the greatest shield he can ever have. And as somebody like Tony, he needs Amber and Rob because he's the biggest threat out there. But you're not going to be able to convince all these other maybe smaller threats like Sophie and Yul and Wendell, who aren't the biggest threats in the world. You're not going to be able to convince them, let's keep Amber. And it's not Amber's fault. I still think Amber probably does play the worst winning game in Survivor history in All-Stars. I really do believe that. But this game she played tonight, her going out this early, has nothing to do with her talent at the game of Survivor. It literally only has to do with the fact that her husband is on the other tribe. And unlike with Jeremy and Natalie, where they're on the same tribe and you can pick which one you'd rather get rid of, they had no choice but to get rid of him.
Yeah. And now she is going to be feeding Rob idols and advantages and all this other stuff from the edge of extinction.
Exactly, which we saw Natalie do today and give Sandra the idol. What did you think about Sandra?
I think she did it probably to spice it up because Sandra is obviously going to be on the chopping block. And then I don't know how it switched. I mean, I guess like it was really Yul who switched it, but I'm kind of shocked that Sandra's name just kind of came up and then immediately died. And she obviously got more aggressive once she realized that she had an idol. And it was her first one too. How cute is that?
I know, and she sat out. So some things change, some things stay the same. Anybody who listens to her
commentary now, like I am here for that.
I loved when she's yelling at Tony, pay attention, look up here, come on, Tony.
Move along.
Yeah, she didn't do anything. I mean, I know we didn't end up seeing the entire first challenge because they probably played to 6 or 7, something like that. They always play a little bit longer in these. I remember the one where James throws the thing on Randy's face. They played to a higher number. There were more wins for the heroes, or the villains, I mean. But they only show really the ones that are important to the thing. And so in this episode, it looks like Sandra doesn't do that challenge. And then Sandra goes and doesn't do the second challenge. So Sandra is off to a flying start in terms of her physical prowess in this game, which is exactly what we expected, right? I
know. No, it's so good. And she's pissed at Rob.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And I don't blame her. I mean, I don't. I wonder, though, if she told Rob she was going to play. Like, did she say it?
She must have, because otherwise she wouldn't be mad.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it's implied. Yeah, totally insane. But yeah, Yul was so good. And he kind of framed himself as like, I don't know anybody. I have no friends. And he did it in such a like very casual way. And everyone ate it up. And that was the tribe that does have less connections, because I feel like it has more of the one-off winners. But again, it's really crazy to see that Jeremy and Natalie were so targeted. Tony and Sarah, no one's even talking about.
Tony and Sarah, nobody's even talking. You know why? Because I think a lot of people actually want Tony as a shield. And even though everybody's talking, let's vote Sarah out, let's vote Sarah out, let's vote Sarah out. At the end of the day, no matter how bad they want to vote you out early, if you're really good socially, you're going to find a way in socially. And I think that's Sarah. Sarah is just a really good social player. Remember, her first season, she goes home on a vote where she was the swing vote because she overplayed her hand. Had she not overplayed her hand, Sarah very easily wins Kagayan. Like, she could have went all the way because she was in this perfect position where all 10 other people trust her. She just overplayed her hand. And that's, I think, what's happening here is she goes up to Sandra and says, Sandra, everybody's going to want to vote you out. Don't you want to work with me? Oh, okay, sure. That sounds great, because that means Sarah knows Sandra will work with anybody. She doesn't care. And if Yul is walking around saying, I want to work with anybody, let's go. I mean, this is fantastic. And I'm proud of Yul for finding his Becky in Sophie. I mean, that's an adorable little nerdy alliance right there.
Oh my God. Yeah. The Yul and Sophie courtship and the Parvati and Rob courtship were so good, where she stopped in her tracks and like, he may as well have asked her to marry him. Mm-hmm. She was like, oh my God, yes. And then Rob and Parvati are like going to the prom together. Like, it was really cute. And those are really going to work. I think Yul and Sophie are a really cool team.
Yeah, I think Yul and Sophie is definitely going to work. And what I'm seeing from Yul is Yul's in this game for the long run. And if he goes out early, it's going to be because of a twist or something like that. Or he's going to see it coming. Like, Yul is so ready for this game. It's like a breath of fresh air, though, because we see the crazy strategists. We've seen so many strategist types like Tony now, like the under the radar anybody but me, the Sandra types, or the under the radar Michelle, Danny, Natalie White, those types of winners. But we have not seen a winner like Yul who literally is like, I'm going to map this out and I'm going to figure it out from here. And just how socially like awkward he is at times when I think he's talking to Kim and Kim says something and he like moves his entire body towards her to be like, what'd you say? Rather than just being like, huh, I didn't hear you. Like, I love those little things because that talking to Kim is not really part of his plan right there. And that's not his forte. His forte is thinking things through and figuring out how to win this game and using his people. He's not great at having to branch out to other people unless there's somebody completely on the outs, like Jonathan Penner back in Cook Islands.
Right. And that's what's so funny about like the montage of poor Kim realizing that she was in trouble. Like, it's so funny. Even when you have a bucket full of winners, people still go off away from camp, which like you have to wonder at what point. Like, I know Tony made the joke about being on house arrest, but like, at what point do people like need to go out there for survival?
Yeah. Like,
do you roll in a squad of 5 to go get water? I do not know.
Everybody's going in a squad of 10 to take a poop. Pick your 3, everybody.
All right, everyone's getting the water on 3.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Everyone does that. And then when someone's going home, people always say like people avoid eye contact when I'm going home. They still can't do it.
They can't do it. I mean, no matter how good of a player you are, there's always someone better. And like, even if Parvati is the best player out there or Sandra's the best player out there, there's somebody who's better than them at some aspect that can trick them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, even if Parvati's better than 18 other people out there, there's one person better than her at something who's worse than 18 other people at something else. Like, it's so crazy. I mean, think about like Ethan coming out there, who, by the way, I was kind of worried about Ethan. Okay, I was kind of worried because Kelly Wigglesworth wasn't great her second time around. Wasn't great TV, was barely really there, really was there for the adventure her first time. Ethan's out there and he's like, all right, let's go. Let's do this. Let's make this happen.
Making moves.
He's making moves. And they weren't always the right moves. And he had to be like, well, what am I doing with this? But for the most part, Ethan is like, all right, I'm going to find my footing. If I got to work with Rob, I got to work with Rob. I got to work with Danny. I might have to work with Parvati. Ethan is willing to work with anybody. He doesn't care. And I love that. Like, but he's still like, am I moving too slow for this game? I don't know. And he's playing so much faster than he ever had to play in his entire life.
Oh, yeah. When Jeff asked him a question and Ethan was like, oh, we're not even going to talk about the shelter. Jeff was like, I don't give a crap about the shelter.
Well, no, I think it was Jeff asked about the shelter, about how it was for Ethan not having to do the shelter. And Ethan immediately answered with strategy. And Jeff was like, so we're not going to answer about the shelter. And he's like, oh, you asked about the shelter. Like,
oh, right.
It's crazy.
No, Ethan's doing a great job adapting. And it's really like cute to watch him just like dive right into it.
I love it. I really do. And I think Ethan right now, I don't like you go from one episode of all these winners. I think everybody had a confessional tonight. Some of them only had one. Nobody really overpowered us, which I really loved. I don't think anybody there was nobody who had like 10 confessionals or 9 confessionals. I feel like everybody got like a pretty even spread out, made it really good. Adam might have had the most confessionals tonight, either Adam or Ben. But like Ethan to me feels like the person that right now, if I were to call my dad on the phone, he'd be like, I hope Ethan. And I feel like if I'm asking just a casual fan who you hoping wins, they're probably saying Ethan after what you watched tonight.
He was great. He was so great.
Yeah.
And I don't know, his ex-girlfriend is gone, lest we forget.
Yeah, I know. His ex-girlfriend is gone. That's like his way of being. Now he can be like, hey, Rob, like now you have to work with me. Like, you can't work with Amber. And I'm like, I dated Amber.
I kind of like seeing that Ethan and Rob are in an alliance together.
Especially after like what went down in All Stars, which really
I know water under the bridge.
I guess Rob didn't vote out Ethan though. It was Lex who voted out Ethan, but because of what happened with Lex and Rob, you'd think Ethan might hold a grudge or something. But it's so long ago. It's so long ago. We forget this. Jeff kept saying, like, Amber, you played your first time 20 years ago. Like, what? Like, it's so crazy.
I know. She's like, Jeff, stop dating me.
I know. But she hasn't aged. And when she said that and was like hoping for compliments, like, Amber, you have not aged.
Like, Amber, you look literally perfect.
I know. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I like how she looked at this as a vacation. Well, now she's really going to be on vacation because she's just going to be on edge of extinction with Natalie Anderson, too.
They super pissed off Natalie Anderson.
I know. We'll talk all about what happened with Natalie and stuff.
I know. Both of those vote outs, they were like stone cold walking out there. Mm-hmm. There was no like cutesy goodbye words, no anything. It was scary.
It was scary.
It was amazing.
And I love Jeremy just looking over to Ben and being like, who was it? Who was it? Like, and Ben probably told him immediately because that's what Ben seems like. Ben's spilling. We forget that Ben didn't play a great social game in his season. He started to pick it up near the end, but his social game is what got him in trouble, and that's why he needed all those idols. So he still might not have the social game. He's going to try to figure it out on the run here, but he's trying to find allies. I think everybody's so nervous as we're seeing. I think that's the biggest thing to take away from this episode was it doesn't matter who you are. You're terrified that you're getting voted out of the season.
I mean, like Adam and Denise, like when Denise is like, you can be my second Jungle Boy. Like if I was Adam, I would cry. Like that's amazing.
And that's what Adam wanted. I mean, I know Adam. I think when Adam came on and was talking to Will and I back when he did his interview with us, I think he was saying he always wanted somebody like Denise. And that's why him and Sunday got along so well. There's something about when you're the youngest guy out there and you can work with one of the older women. Like if there's a bond there, if they have a kid and, you see like something in your mother there, like it's easy to form that bond. And I'm not surprised they bonded immediately. Did they really get lost on the trail? I think so. But that's a really hard sell in an all-winter season, huh?
Yeah. But I know. And they like one of them had admitted like, oh, we were gone for a while. But that's what's so crazy. Like I remember they walked away the first time and Ben was like, oh my God, there's 6 of us. Can we just like shut it down right now? And that's almost what happened.
It is almost what happened. I mean, it ended up not being that easy. And I loved Adam completely flipping out, which by the way, his mouth got blurred and Boston Rob's mouth got blurred tonight. But I loved Adam immediately flipping out. Be like, that should not be an issue. We went to get water and we literally got lost. But it's not going to work this season. You can't slip up at all because everybody's going to look for any excuse, especially because of the way this game started, the red tribe gets to go back to camp and be like, all right, we get to like figure things out or whatever. The blue tribe doesn't have a second in this game where they're not immediately saying I could be voted out because they already know they lost immunity. I mean, you lost immunity right off the bat. I mean, you're in trouble. Like you can never play calm and be like, well, we might not lose. You're talking to these people for the first time and it's already in everybody's mind of we have to vote somebody out tomorrow night. So like, let's be good at the game. Let's figure something out.
I'm so glad. I knew they would do this, but I'm so glad they gave them like an ample amount of time to vote the person out. And they clearly needed it because it sounds like they didn't even have a decision up until like they were going to leave.
I know. And I bet you if it would have been the first night, Adam or Denise probably does go home, but then they were able to actually think it through, and it ends up going the opposite route there and being
it reminds me a bit of how Vince went home last season. Like Vince couldn't really give Karishma I'm actually mixing it up. It was Karishma who couldn't give Vince an answer. Like Vince was like, who do we vote out? And I feel like you almost need to have a name at the ready, but I understand the fear of just like, what if that's the wrong name?
Yeah, exactly. And I think Natalie Anderson, actually, I was worried she was going to get voted out because she was going to come out swinging and be too fast. Like, she's an aggressive player. She was aggressive in The Amazing Race. She's aggressive in this. She seems like she's probably aggressive in her everyday life. But she didn't even really come aggressive in this game. She just came out to play, and it literally was just the fact that her and Jeremy started on the same tribe. If her and Jeremy started on opposite tribes, like they should have, Natalie Anderson probably doesn't go home first because there really was no other reason to vote Natalie out other than Adam and Denise very smartly ran over and said, why get rid of us? We've known each other for 2 days. Yeah. Jeremy and Natalie have known each other for 6 years.
What would have been the downside of switching Natalie and Sarah tribe-wise? Does that mix up any relationships? Because I feel like that would clean it up.
I feel like that's all they had to do. I think that's what I had missing when I did because I had tried to predict the tribes like before everything went down, and I think that's what I had missing. I assumed Natalie and Jeremy would be on opposite sides, and Sarah wouldn't be on the same tribe as Sandra to start because they played together.
Right.
I think that's what I thought, and then sure enough, and then what is it? Tony, Sarah, and Sandra. No, they're not all in the same tribe, are they? They are all in the same tribe. They're all on the same tribe. So that's what I thought. I thought Sarah and Natalie would be switched because then it would be Natalie, Sandra, Tony, and then Sarah would be on with Jeremy, which would have made complete sense. And really, this is what ends up screwing Natalie. And I feel bad for Natalie. But sometimes you do have to just throw out a name and be like, I hope that this is all they wanted to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God, I completely lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I was going to let you take over.
Tony, because I feel like Tony was super great tonight.
Tony was fantastic. And I think Tony learned a lot from Game Changers.
Yes. Yeah. The house arrest joke was so good. But he was like, I'm not leaving. And Wendell was like, sure you don't want to? I feel like you want to get out of here. And he was like, no. I'm good. I'm happy. Yeah. We saw a lot of camp life because no one was leaving camp.
There were no idols. And I mean, on a season, so I saw Wiggler's tweet where he had said, I'm watching with a casual, and he said this and that, and whatever, and it feels like too much stuff. For an episode where a lot was at the beginning, now we're just introduced to it all. Whatever. And it's all stuff we knew coming into the game anyway, coming into this season from all the pregame press and everything like that. There really wasn't anything crazy tonight in terms of like the fire tokens didn't have a big impact yet, although Sandra did get an idol, but okay, like nothing too crazy. And now Natalie Anderson has a token, and it's going to make it easier for her to get in the game. And nobody had found an idol because nobody was really looking. Amber probably did the most looking for idols, and it seemed like the rest of that red tribe was going to be running around looking for idols, but I don't know. They didn't really.
Yeah. So, I know they did. We only saw Amber looking. Past that, we didn't really see anybody. I mean, I'm sure everyone's going to still be looking, even though there's definitely stuff on Edge of Extinction. But one thing I was unsure of, I couldn't tell if this was just wording. So Natalie's reading one of the notes, and it says, you will have an opportunity to get fire tokens to get back into the game. So it's not, is it still going to be like the re-entry challenges?
I think it's still going to be a re-entry challenge. I just think that you'll be able to buy advantages with your tokens.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I think that's all it's going to be. And you can buy other stuff as well. There's food out there now and everything like that, but you have to kind of earn it in order to get it.
Gotcha. Okay. So Natalie now has one token. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if out of all the things you buy on the Edge of Extinction, Natalie Anderson buys a bottle of wine?
That'd be hilarious. You can do all this stuff, and it's like a 6-pack of beer, a bottle of I bet you they all buy a 6-pack of beer. One person, they'll all take a token to buy a 6-pack of beer at some point. While right before they're about to either have their challenge or something as a celebration. I bet you they do that at some point, but they're not going to why would you ever do that early? Imagine being the first boot and just being I'm going to buy a 6-pack of beer because I want to get drunk.
I think that'd be freaking hilarious.
Where's Brett when we need him? Get Brett LaBelle out there on Edge of Extinction with a 6-pack
Brett's
of beer.
Screaming at Natalie to get that 6-pack.
Get the 6-pack. I know. Carl was probably damn, I'd do it. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But I am surprised. I mean, it looks like they're both going to stay out there, Amber and Natalie. And if that's the case, it's like, I don't know if they actually think they still have a chance to win the game. If I'm Natalie or Amber, I'm saying I got no shot the rest of this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. They're in trouble. Yeah. But yeah, so Edge of Extinction, they didn't spend like a ton of time on there, which I was beyond fine with. I guess they will start to, but I guess like, especially if Amber's finding stuff to send to Rob. But let's go back to Rob and Parvati for a little bit, because that brings me back to
what do you got?
So how is everyone letting them do this?
I don't know. Because everybody got distracted by Adam and Denise. They pulled the wool over everybody's eyes.
The true power couple of Adam and Denise. Denise won her first tribal immunity.
We didn't say that yet. I know. Denise Stapley won her first ever immunity. That was the first tribal council she has not gone to.
I love it.
It's unbelievable.
It's freaking incredible.
It's incredible.
Super happy for her for that. I love that everyone's like kind of chubby, and I say that out of love. Like,
they all wanted to put on weight probably because they know they're going to starve, and if there's any chance of Edge of Extinction, you're probably saying to yourself, "I'm really going to starve."
Yeah. Oh, I loved at the very beginning when Jeff was like, "And this, and this, and this," and Danny was like, "Oh my God, like this is too much."
Yeah. I know, and that's kind of how you had to be. I mean, it was a lot. And then to have them do that challenge and to say, and it's for immunity and it's for fire and you're not going to get rice unless you do this and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm fine though, because like I'd rather watch players I know try to navigate the fire tokens than people I don't. One thing I hope they change in the future is that you can't just use one fire token to get an immunity idol. You have to use two, so that you have to branch out to somebody else in order to get that fire token. Imagine if Sandra had to walk up to Yul and be like, "Yul, I'm telling you this because I want you to know, but it's an immunity idol that's only good for 3 tribals. I need another token. You or me are in trouble. We use it on each other." That's it. Like, it would have been great to have seen that, but just getting it for one seems a little bit too easy. Yes.
I bet they'll make them more expensive, but I think they wanted Sandra to have it.
Or somebody to have it in episode
Someone
1.
to have it just to show how the process works. What I think is interesting is that you can use fire tokens either like you all as a tribe, and you also trade them with Edge of Extinction people.
Yeah, exactly. And there's always just going to be 20 fire tokens in the game. See, I was worried that Natalie Anderson was going to run to the other side of the island and just get a fire token. I like that she has to trade it in and that it's always $20, essentially that's going around the pot. It never becomes more than that, but you could be in a situation where you have all 20 fire tokens. You know, like that could happen. And I like that that's happening on this season. So
I think so too. Yeah, the fire tokens aren't bugging me. I'm pretty into them.
Yeah. One thing that did bug me is that we didn't really see too much of Michelle tonight, but I'm going to go on an in defense of, because it has been 32 minutes. And if you're listening this long, you're a real fan. And guess what? Michelle's still going to win the season because she didn't vote the right way the first time. And if anybody wants to say she didn't speak in the first however many minutes, she did have it was her voice over like the montage where it was like, we're all going to be playing, doing whatever. Like it was her voice in that opening montage. But she voted for Denise tonight. So Natalie and Jeremy both voted wrong. Natalie voted Denise, Jeremy voted Adam, and Michelle was left out, which is interesting to me because Michelle is known for her social game. And I don't think that she played wrong here because it looked like she was still talking to a lot of people in a lot of the clips we saw, but she voted the wrong way.
I honestly think it was probably a disconnect. Because I think, was it Parvati or someone made a really good point? Or no, Sophie made the point in the second tribal council of like, everyone has to make sure that they had the right final conversation before they came here. And some people didn't.
Yeah.
So luckily for Michelle, I think it was just a miscommunication.
I think it was probably a miscommunication, but it also led to her confessional right after that, talking about how she was on the wrong side of it. Now she needs to get her butt in gear, which is good because they could have easily just been like, ignore that. We don't care about this. I'm ready to go. Somebody in here said Michelle took Aubrey's spot. Damn right she did. She beat Aubrey. Damn right she did. But yeah, so Michelle doesn't really get much tonight. But
and she got the flashback too.
They get the flashback. So I'm starting to, and it was, see, we got a lot of flashbacks tonight. So let's think about the flashbacks we got, because we got Michelle's flashback, which really builds into her story. We got obviously the Robin Amber flashback, which we all knew was coming. What other flashbacks did we get tonight?
Poker Night Live.
We did get poker. Yeah, we did get that.
What other flashbacks? I feel like
we definitely got Ethan, which another like Ethan and Michelle with their flashbacks. It was emotional flashbacks, and actually for Tyson, who probably had the most emotional episode, we didn't get a flashback for him. We just got the Poker Night Live thing.
Yeah, I know I think Tyson had a lot of emotional content. Yeah, Ethan got a good one. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, here we go. We got Tony versus Sandra in season 34. Yeah, that definitely happened. Thank you, Zach Abrams. That one definitely happened.
That was good. It's always game changes flashbacks.
There's always. It's like the number one go-to thing. It
wasn't a good season. I forget what I was going to say, though. I'm not sure. But I think I'm glad they're not spending like too much time on the flashbacks.
No, they don't need to spend too much time, but I do like that it's like, this is the last time we played, or this is the last time we did something. And it's just like, okay. Oh, yeah, we had Natalie and Jeremy because they were talking about how close they were and how I always got cheered back, and then she turns around and she votes him out, and then she ends up getting voted out, which then we saw Nadia get voted out. So we did get a little bit there from San Juan del Sur. But, yeah, we don't need too much time on the flashbacks, but I did kind of appreciate it in this episode because there are so many. You can't ignore these pre-game alliances and everything else that's happened. In other seasons, you've been able to ignore it. All-Stars, they pretty much ignored it. People would talk about it, but it wasn't like crazy. Game Changers, they kind of ignored it. This season, it's best to just address it and go with it. And so I don't mind that they did some of these flashbacks early on, and they'll probably die down quite a bit until like old challenges start coming up or something like that. So yeah, I know Alexa is currently muting herself. Matt Singh definitely had a flashback because Denise was talking about how all she does is lose, 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 no matter what. So
sad. Yeah. So do we think we're going to have reward challenges, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad we didn't have any tonight. We didn't need.
I'm glad we didn't have them tonight. Yeah, I was actually very fine with that. Yeah, I think the flashbacks are going to tone down. I'm surprised they didn't have Wendell and Dom tying.
They might later on if Wendell says something. Like if Wendell's like, man, I got to find my Dom, somebody I can go to the end with. But Wendell took a side seat tonight. Yeah. He really did. He definitely took a side position. And he's still in the majority alliance, which at the end of the day is where you'd rather be. But Nick had a lot at the beginning and then kind of took a side seat. And then you also had Wendell, who kind of was just kind of pulled into this alliance of Yul, Sophie, Sarah, Sandra. That's the people we're supposed to be looking at, is what I'm hearing. And then Wendell is being considered for it, and Nick is being considered for it. But Wendell and Nick didn't really speak too much about how they felt about that. So I don't really know where Wendell's mind is at with all that.
It's really Yul's party there.
It really is, which is unbelievable.
And when he was talking about Sarah and Sandra were trying to recruit like kind of all the people who didn't have prior friends, and Yul was like, oh yeah, I'm trying to do the same thing. Instead of that bothering him, he was like, why don't we just combine them? Really, really fantastic.
Fantastic. That's all you had to do. Like just combine the two forces and boom, we've done it. And again, though, like going back to Yul's social game, he's good socially because he says the right things, but he's thinking about it so much. Like that scene where he's talking at the water well with Sandra and Sarah is pretty awkward. I mean, at the end of the day, like Yul's not killing it in terms of how he's speaking to them, but he gets his point across, and now he can go back to what he's comfortable with, which is talking to Sophie and discussing the game with Sophie. Sophie is his people. That's who he wants to play the game with. He wants to play with people like Sophie. Sarah and Sandra, they're kind of like his Aussie, where it's like, all right, we're going to be put in this position. Now let's make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It is really interesting. And that's what was so fascinating about Kim, and is fascinating about like Rob and Parvati. Like all the people who are used to being on top show how good they are at being in that leadership position. And then we are going to see a lot of people do what Kim did tonight. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be really heartbreaking.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot. Like everybody's going to have a moment like that where it's, damn, I'm not on the right side of the numbers. And some of them have been there before, but a lot of them haven't. Even though a lot of these players have played more than once, not all of them have. So, right. Michelle, that was really the first time that she was on the wrong side of things because she won every challenge before the merge. And then when the merge hit, Nick gets voted out. And that was really the only time. I mean, I think she still voted out Nick, but that was really the only time that it was like, dang, I can't really control this. The rest of the game, it was kind of the people she wanted to go. So, or she knew they were going. So this is going to be new territory for a lot of people. Yul just hasn't had to experience it yet. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So now that Amber is gone, do you think Rob's target gets smaller?
I think Rob's target is very small. Yeah, I think that now that Amber's gone, it's not as big of a deal. Maybe if people start to catch on to what's going on with the fire tokens, it becomes a bigger deal. But no, I don't really feel like it's that big of a deal right now. I really don't, because she's gone. He's always going to be a bigger target that you can vote out at any time. Yeah, he's good at challenges, but nobody's going to go on this 15 immunity challenge, Colby, Tom Westman, Terry Dietz run. Like, that's just not going to happen on this season. And so I don't think people are that worried about it, really.
Yeah, I don't think so. But he's still damn good in challenges.
He is. Oh, he's a beast still, and it's great to see. I mean, it was that first challenge was awesome to watch. I forget who the second matchup was, but when they were so close, it looked like Parvati was going to grab the pole, and then she wasn't able to do it, and they just got yanked in the other direction. I think it was Kim who was just like, nope, and just took them to the complete other side. Like, it was just an epic challenge. These openings where the stakes are already so high for the viewers because we know everybody. We don't need to meet these people in order to care who we're rooting for. This would not have the same impact if this is how they started Island of the Idols, because we don't know who any of the players are, so we're not rooting for anybody yet. But in this situation, we're rooting so hard for one side or the other, or just one matchup or one player, because you don't want somebody to go home. And, I mean, Rob's got to be standing there thinking, God, I just got out here. I just lost the first challenge. I could easily go home tonight because I'm the biggest threat. And Ethan's standing there going, I haven't played in 16, 17 years. Am I going to go home right now? It's unreal.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't know how they're going to keep up this pace the entire season.
They will.
No, they will.
I feel like it's going to be heroes versus villains-ish, but hopefully the post-merge is better than the heroes-villains post-merge, which I think it will be, because heroes-villains was very much along original tribal lines. I don't think that'll happen on this season.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, yeah. But yeah, it's exciting stuff, and I'm curious. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Minimal commercials tonight.
Yeah, they must have had some sort of deal. I don't know. It felt like we got a lot of content.
20 minutes without a commercial.
Yeah, we had a lot of that opening was very, very long.
Yeah, opening was good. Yeah, Jeff had a lot of rules to explain.
He had a lot of things to explain, and they were all getting drunk for it, so they probably couldn't follow.
Yeah, well, I was about to ask, how many times do you think they had to redo the shot of Jeff popping the champagne? Because he did it perfectly. Oh,
it was perfect. And also, how far did it fly? Because I feel like we watched somebody turn their head and like go like that. It's like there's no way it went that
Jeff
far.
Like rocket shoots it out.
Also, I just want to give a shout out to any dream teamers, any other PAs or production people who work out there in Fiji. I'm so sorry Jeff just had them all chuck it over their heads so they could shatter on the sand. I'm sure that was so easy to pick up. Any of you with your medical bills and everything like that, I won't cover them, but I do feel bad for you for them.
Yeah, that was like a kind of hilarious, but I was like, oh, but I don't even know if they shattered because they were falling on sand.
I don't know. Champagne glasses with its stem and everything, it's pretty easy for them to break. And I'm sure that sand has probably been matted down with people walking all over it. And they're throwing it like the huge logos back there and everything. I'm pretty sure some of them broke.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that was silly. And I loved Adam inspecting his glass, like looking for a clue.
You had to be. There's no way you can get that and not think that there's something up, especially since when he picked it up, it's exactly what they used to cover up the covered reward items with.
Yes, I know. Maybe that's a hint for an auction.
Yes, exactly.
In our future, hopefully.
I mean, they have fire tokens. It's essentially an auction.
I know. Not as exciting, though.
Not as well. It's going through the whole season. I don't dislike it, though. I really don't.
I'm fine with them.
Yeah, I thought that they were fine this episode. They didn't do anything negative. Edge of Extinction really hasn't had that big of an impact. Maybe it will as more people start to like show up. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. Right now, I like it.
I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah. But I just want to, again, address, just in case you're joining us late, that intern lost both Amber and Natalie, and we're going to be moving forward with intern not having two of his people after the first episode, so that's always a good time. Alexa, how you feeling about what's going to shape up next? It doesn't look like they're going to do any type of swap. It looks like Angelina was able to bring her ladder out there, but it's a little bit taller.
So I missed the preview. What happened?
Oh, they brought Angelina's ladder back, but it's actually a huge ladder, and like Tony's climbing up so high into the tree, it's insane. But even if you don't watch that, what are you feeling for the rest of the season? Like, what are your like not like baby predictions?
Like
what are you feeling?
Alliances are just not going to be a thing. Mm-hmm. I feel like we're gonna have these trust clusters and these voting blocks, but they're not even going to be branded that way because I think everyone is going to be so self-serving that they won't even be insulted when alliances are broken.
Mm-hmm. And so you don't think this alliance of 6 that Yul has put together will last?
I think it'll last, but I don't think it lasts. Like, let's say they went out, like, I think it breaks up like as soon as the merge hits.
True. Yeah, and I mean, we're probably going to get one swap before then. It just looks like the swap probably won't come till 16 or later, which I'm all about. Like, the later the swap, the better.
They probably also want to be careful of swaps, because what if they swap the wrong people together?
Yeah, and now that, like, the tribes gone. The tribes are more even, you know, like the 1-1, why mess that up? You know, like, why have something bad happen? So
exactly. Yeah, but I'm loving it. I'm so incredibly excited. This lived up to the hype.
It definitely lived up to the hype. It was awesome. One person I don't think we gave enough love to tonight was probably Tyson. He had a really good start. And then also when he found out his name was on the block, I love how quickly he was able to shift and just be like, all right, you want to get rid of Amber? Like, cool. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Yeah. I thought he did a really good job with that tonight, of being able to adapt very quickly for somebody who didn't always adapt well in his earlier games. It seems like now he knows what he's playing for. And he had that really emotional moment about his kids and how he's so happy he won the $1 million, because now he can't do the 9-to-5 thing. He just spends time with his kids, and that's what he wanted to do. So I love that.
Yeah, I think so. But Tyson's in the best position. Tyson's lost twice. So Tyson knows how to lose, and he knows how to play.
Yeah, he knows how to bounce back from losses.
He can scramble. He scrambles well.
He does. He really, really does. So
what do you feel? What's your takeaway?
I just feel like it's going to be a back and forth season. I feel like everybody, considering we saw some of everybody tonight, I think that's going to continue through this entire season. I think that there's not going to be like that invisible, like that Troy Zan from Game Changers. Like, where the hell was he? Like, what's going on? Show us more. I feel like everybody's going to really get their moments here throughout the season, because I think they all – I mean, think about how quickly Jeremy and Michelle realized their mistake right away. And I'm sure that – whoever voted wrong in that second tribal council, which I don't know if anybody actually voted wrong. I don't know if anybody did, but I'm sure like Kim, she's able to quit. No, Nick voted right. Nick might have voted for somebody else, but Nick
received a vote.
Oh, yes. That was probably from Amber.
Yeah.
It's probably from Amber. But either way, like, look how quickly Kim was able to adapt. Tyson was able to adapt. I think that's what we're going to continue to see throughout this season, so that as people are voted out, or like if you survive one tribal and you're on the bottom, you're not done. You still have a chance to overcome it. Look how fast Ben was able to make up from his mistake. And Danny, how quick she was able to make up from her mistake. She was so able to just be like, I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Let's work together. Like, whatever. Let's do it. And, you know, I think that that's what we're going to see a lot of this season. Adam was able to really regain his footing, which I was not sure he was going to be able to do, because, you know, everybody knows he's a huge fan and all of that, but they're all able to regain their footing. And I think that that's what we're going to continue to see. So I'm excited to see how this whole thing shapes up. I think we're in for an epic season. Whether somebody you liked in their previous season wins or not, we are in for straight epicness tonight.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
Let's look at what prop bets we hit.
Yes, we had a couple mouths blurred. It looks like we're going to get some mouths blurred next week. There was one in the next time on, but I honestly forget who it was. So, yeah, let's look at what we got here. Cries of physical tear. Kim Spradlin cried.
Kim Spradlin cried. Where do we stand on Parvati?
I don't think Parvati cried. I didn't see a tear. She just kind of choked a little bit. I am going to watch the episode again tonight.
She wiped a tear, but she did wipe it from her eye. I will push for this, but I won't.
I'll watch it again tonight with prop bets in mind.
Okay.
Adam mouth blurred, Kim mouth blurred, Amber also cried.
Sandra with an idol.
Yeah, Sandra got an idol, so that definitely happened. Who had the episode title tonight? What was the name of the episode?
I have no idea what the
episode. The name of the episode was Greatest of the Greats. Did anybody actually say that, or did Jeff just say that? I feel like somebody said that.
Did anybody get less than 5 votes?
No. Wait, Natalie got 5, right? Or no, she probably got more.
Yeah.
Natalie got 6. Natalie got 7. Yeah, Natalie got 7.
And whose mouths got blurred? Rob and who?
Adam and Kim.
Oh, Adam and Kim. Okay, so it's double wrong.
Yes. Oh, Ben said Greatest of the Greats. So I'm sure everybody's excited. All of the Ben haters are probably like, wah, wah, wah. He got an episode title. He got the episode title. Obviously, nobody won individual immunity. There's no returns from Edge of Extinction. No blindfold. We might as well call them making the jury, but we won't say it quite yet. Sandra got her first sit out on her way to 3. We know she's getting there. I don't think anybody had 10+ confessionals tonight, do you?
I don't think so either. I love it.
I love it. Incredibly well, evenly edited, which made it a lot of fun. We heard from everybody. Sophie and Danny were like, standout tonight.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Let's see. Spends 20 days on EOE. No. Over an hour in a challenge. No. Confessional in every episode right now. Everybody's got it.
We've got them.
That's it. So that's what we got right now. Nothing else really going on here. I guess MVP, Alexa, who we thinking for MVP? Let's defend people because Yul is on Vaughn's team, and I already said I think it should be Yul. But let's try to defend somebody from our own tribes here. Who you got?
I think honestly, Parvati's the MVP. I think Parvati she was so aware that she had a target, and she even said, she's like, I'm going to play the mom card. Like, I can't be the flirt. I don't want to be the flirt anymore. She teamed up with the one person who she needed to, and she completely pulled the wool over everybody's eyes. She was fantastic.
And totally flirted with him.
Oh yeah,
they were flirting while walking down. Like Amber probably had a stern talk to Rob.
Yeah, that must be an awkward thing for them to have watched.
Yeah, what is going on? I actually think Boston Rob has a pretty good claim to be MVP tonight because who has a bit? I know his wife went home, but that's not him. He's still in the game, and really, he did a great job. Did a fantastic job tonight of not putting himself in the sights. Like he was just, okay, you got why get rid of me? I'm Boston Rob. I'm here to play. And yeah, I really, really liked Boston Rob. So I paid nothing for him, and I would love nothing more than paying nothing for the person who ends up getting MVP episode 1. That would just be awesome.
I would love that.
I would love that. So vote in here. We're only going to do it on the YouTube video because it's just too hard to keep track of everywhere else. So get a YouTube account and do it. Don't really bother with Twitter or anything like that. And just put who you think is MVP, everybody. For Robert's team, I'd probably say it was – he has Ethan, Tyson, and Sarah. All 3 of them had pretty good episodes. Tyson showed he could overcome. Ethan had a great emotional episode. And Sarah really fit in despite everybody in the world wanting to vote her out, including all of Reddit. So I do think that she had a good episode. So really – he could have some good stuff, but I still think it's probably Yul, although I like your argument.
Yeah, from that group, definitely Yul.
Yeah, I do like that. But everybody vote here.
Not many LVPs. Everyone was great.
Which is great because we don't do LVP anymore, which is important. Because it was impossible to keep track. Everybody just would vote for LVP because they were mad at somebody. So, so we don't do LVP anymore. But what we do is we still have people coming on our Power Rankings episodes on the weekends. Alexa, who we got?
We are talking to the winner of Survivor, The Edge of Extinction, Chris Underwood. We are talking to Chris Underwood this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. And we are super excited. We've been chatting with him for a while. We just, scheduling's always been a little tough, but we are pumped to talk to Chris this week.
The man knew he was going to be a millionaire the next day and didn't pay for my Margaritaville. Don't think that's not coming up on this podcast. But yes, it'll be fun to talk to Chris, especially since, and we know that a lot of people are like, oh, Chris, he used Edge of Extinction. He's the worst winner. But he used Edge of Extinction, and I'd love to hear his take on if he thinks these players are going to be able to actually use Edge of Extinction to their advantage and win an all-winner season when all these people have won without having to be voted out. So we're bringing on Chris Underwood. It'll be a lot of fun. Make sure you tune into that. And if you want to be in the prop bet game, become a patron. This is like our cbs.com/casting. This is us telling you, if you want to be in our power ranking game, go be a patron. It's a lot of fun. We have right now, Alexa, we have a lot of people. I don't even know how many it is, but we probably have, let's see, we're at 24 there. We have 34 people doing this right now, which is a pretty good amount. We might actually have a couple more that we haven't added in yet. So get in there. We're not going to cut it off. We're going to give away one buff to whoever ends up winning it. It's just fun to keep track the entire time. It's like an extra fun thing that you can do. And you're going to be competing against Chris Underwood this week. We pretty much already know our guests for week 2. We know our guests for week 3. They're fun people that you want to be able to say, like, yeah, I did better than them. I know Survivor better than these people. So you could start off by saying you know it better than Chris Underwood, and then you can send them crazy, angry, like Instagram messages or whatever it is you kids do these days. So, yeah.
I couldn't have said it any better myself, Phil. Social media, become a patron, and we'll be back this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time with Chris Underwood.
Bye.